Hey, how you doing? My name is John Skippy Lemcool. Welcome to a new video. I'm showing a whole bunch of stuff today, just because it's Memorial Day weekend, so I want to have some bonus fun stuff for you guys to play with this weekend. And I want to show you a couple of things that should get you excited about the future. I'm not releasing a new library at the moment, and there's some reasons we'll talk about in a minute about that. But I'm glad you're here. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing very well. Real quickly, this is a video sponsored by my website, pluginguru.com. Please come here for inspiring patches for lots of different types of plugins if you need new sounds, to give them new life, to make them useful in today's productions, to give them just new inspiring patches to play with. There's all sorts of styles. There's new stuff for everything from Break Tweaker to Omnisphere to Razor. If you haven't, people flip out about the Razor library. It's one of my favorites. Make sure you check this out. Razor is a synthesizer that has no comparison, so it's very cool. Go to the Facebook page and like that and follow along. If you have Mega Magic Dreams for Contact 5, there's 2 new skins I'm releasing. So here's one of them called Dark, and then there's another one that's I think Dark Horse. Those will be up here on the Facebook page by the time you're here, so check those out. Okay, so Omnisphere 2 is out. A lot of you have it and are enjoying it. And so part of this video is going to be covering some of the new features of Omnisphere 2. And instead of doing it like a owner's manual talking about, this is this feature, and we're going to do it more like Safari style. We're going to go and do stuff with those new features. This is a multi. The new up-and-coming Mega Magic Dreams for Omnisphere will be the first library I've released that has multis. So we'll have... And I will make a video soon to show you how to make multis, because multis are really, really fun. Real quick, before we move on, let me go over here. I have another treat for you. There's a new library coming out that someone is doing that is, I put, where is it? There it is, OMG. I can't even show you anything about it yet, but this is a library. Oh, you see Airwave. That might give you a clue. One note. Now, if you know that melody, you're very old school. I won't even tell you where it's from yet. I'll tell you in the future. It's really exciting. Anyway, a new library is coming in June. That's coming. Mega Magic Dreams is coming. Omnisphere 2 is out. So lots of good things are going on. So we're going to start right over here. I'm going to first show you some of the patches and explain some of the cool features of Omnisphere 2. Some of these I can call up and like for example, Flying Wings of Love. There's a reason why this is first. It's using a new feature to Omnisphere for the arpeggiator. It's changing the speed of the arpeggiator as you play the notes. So watch the timing. You can see these little lights flash back and forth. Watch how they speed up, and I'll show you. We'll explain it in a second. But check this out. That's something that was not available in Omnisphere 1. You couldn't have it playing a simple little pattern that sped up to become a really, really fast roll thing like that. Oh, and here, see the little plus? That's a new feature. The LFO now goes only to the positive. It doesn't go negative, which is cool. That's a new feature that's really very, very useful. Okay, so if I go to all, right here, analog drama. This shows off another new feature, polyphonic LFOs. So you can, each note, let's see here. Notice you now have presets for the LFOs, which is cool by this little triangle. Before this, I guess number 6 is the only one. If you go to LFO number 6, it is able to have a P that you can turn on. Without it, hear how all the notes are playing, even when I play a chord. The LFOs at different speeds each time I play, but they're also playing wow wow together. Polyphonic means it's no longer just one wow wow wow. Each note is considered its own wow wow wow. So you get analog. They just each do their thing. Which makes them a lot more unique. So that's cool. This is something new. Cave stalactites. This is using some samples that, as you can see, the guys in the raft, they went out to some crazy place and got these really cool samples. Really nice. There's so many new patches. So let's take a look at this real quick. Let's go over here. Here is the new patch browser by hitting the little folder right here, like you normally do. A lot of attention has been put onto the attributes because there's now 4 columns that you can go through and set up to search for specific sounds. The goal is to try to make it easier to find in the 10,000 patches or however many thousands of patches that are here, the patches that you want specifically. It's better in a lot of ways. There's now, if you click here, there's such things as mood, which is really cool. So you can say, I want euphoric, and now you just get stuff that's got some more of some euphoria kind of a vibe. If you need something that's dramatic, go dramatic, and now you get all sorts of dramatic. Boom, just like that. Okay. The other thing that's cool is over here, there's now version. This lets you go Omnisphere 1 library, which is all the stuff that came with Omnisphere 1, and Omnisphere 2 library. So by doing this, I can go through just dramatic patches that are in the new library. And if I hit the info, you'll see this has a little EDM insignia. That's to signify these are patches that come with the new EDM category. And if you go to your directory, you'll now see you have the Atmosphere. If you just have Spectrasonics Omnisphere, you won't see the Moog Tribute Library unless you've bought that, which you can buy. But you won't see the Trillion or the VIP stuff unless you own Trillion as well. But right here is Spotlight EDM. And this gives you, if we say all, this is all, let's see, make sure that we say all categories. A ton, a literally massive number of new rhythmic stuff. And this is using, in a lot of cases, the new waveforms, which you can access right here. Here's the waveforms that normally were considered the synth versus the sample. But now below that, there's 3 folders, which have subfolders that have all sorts of cool wavetables. And wavetables are cool because you can use the shape to actually go in there. Actually, this patch, anytime you click right here, we could say show modulation for LFO. Let's say show modulation. And part of the cool new interface is on the left, you can have information shown that you might not be able to see. If I was on the effects page or something, I can still see the LFO settings, which is really cool. If I go over here and I say I want to set LFO 1 to control a parameter, modulate this with all sources, so go LFO 1. There it is. I don't have to go back to the edit pages to see the LFO 1 like I used to have to. That's one of the cool new features. This interface is streamlined to make this type of work much more easier to do. You'll also notice the A and B are now done by selecting here. The volumes for A and B are here. They're no longer over here on the left. You have now an overall amp volume over here, and this is something you can modulate. This is the hidden modulation. I would show you in some videos how you could modulate with the LFO or something, the amp. Well, now it has its own real visual slider in the interface, and you can right click on it to modulate that with anything you want. So things like that have been modified and moved around. There's some other cool parameters you should know about. So let's say initialize this patch. Let's go over here and let's say ARP. And let's say something in the ARP category just for fun. And this is already showing an Omnisphere 2 library with sound, and that's fine. Let's use this for a second because I'm going to show you a couple of things. So some of the other new things that are cool, that are new, you have the ability right here for clock speed. You have not only half and double time, but you have 3, 4, a third, which is really cool for the triplet feel, and a quarter note. So if I could take this, halftime. And just like that, it's a whole different vibe. Okay, now if we go back to the loading page, check this out. Another cool feature is sound lock. So let's lock the arpeggiator. It's locked. And now, every patch I go through has that arpeggio assigned. Whereas if I have this off, clear all, and I call this back up again, it's totally different. So the ability to sound lock is another new feature that's really cool. You can take, I like to use it for the arpeggiator and simple stuff. You can get really complex with what you lock, and you can selectively go down the list and choose 3 or 4 different things if you want, like this, the velocity curve. Now, as you can see, there's little check boxes to everything. Just say clear all and it all goes away. I like to just do real simple things, like go to the arpeggiators, find something you like that's got a cool arpeggiator feel, then lock the arpeggiator, and now go through the whole library, and it's a whole new library, because every patch is using that force. Whereas if I turn this to clear all, it's actually supposed to be. So it totally, not only is it a massive number of new patches, but just a simple button click with arpeggiator, every patch is now a completely different patch than it was before. Truly mind-blowing in the way Spectrasonics likes to do things. They like to do things where there's this really simple feature like sound lock that can make the entire library redo itself over and over again based on what things you lock before you start going through patches. So we've talked about waveforms. We've talked a little bit about the arpeggiator, the sound lock. There's so many cool features. I want to show you something really fun to play with. There's a new area inside of Omnisphere you might not know about. So if we say clear the patch, let's initialize the patch. Let's go to A and go to sample. And instead of looking for patches, we're going to go down below and look at the sample list. And here's the list of all the samples. We have it on all. If we go down the list, you all of a sudden see that there's a whole bunch that say PHR. These are phrases. These are from other libraries Spectrasonics released a while ago that have not been in Omnisphere before. They have not put phrases because in the past there wasn't really a whole reason to have phrases like there is now. But because of the enhanced abilities of the granular synthesis engine, they decided to expand the library with all of these amazing phrases. I mean, they're like... I mean, it's all over the place. Om Namo. Well, check this out. So now you have the ability to go to the granular, turn this on. Slow it down, go to position. And you've made something really cool. Let's get some detuning. Just a little bit. So this is from that phrase. And let's do this. Let's go modulate this with the LFO. This is actually like streaming through the sample phrase a little bit at a time. And if I have an LFO on it, let's go to the speed. It's going through it a little bit at a time. So you can take this, okay, now that we've got that set to do something kind of cool. Okay. Now we can go through all these phrases, thousands of phrases. Let's go to a slit drum. Now you have sounds for a Mars scene in a film, a singer. And let's go to the granular and move around so we find out. Pretty haunting. And the original was. Let's have no detuning, so it's now a. Okay, now we go to the synthesizer part. And it's a pad. Crazy stuff. So those kind of things are really fun. Spend the weekend going through the phrases and then just go through the library. There's so many cool samples. From that to turn on granular. Slowed it down. Really fun. Let's turn off, modulate. Let's unmodulate that. Okay, so there's all sorts of possibilities with the granular synthesizer and the phrases. So go looking in the alphabetical order when all is set to all. In the middle of it, you'll find PHR, which is phrases. And there's a ton of them, and they're really fun. The other part of the library that's really cool is do this. Instead of PHR, there's the MT. These are cool synth noises. Okay. Very cool, vintage. Very cool vintage stuff to play with. So the MT is another place to look for stuff. There's Mystic. These are very fun. There's so many new sounds in here. If you go kalimba, there's all these new kalimbas. And they've been played in all sorts of crazy ways. Like if we go... Is my release really long? Sure is. And granular's off. Don't want granular right now. So let me find one here. Zimbira. You have the normal. It's loading. It's going to take it a minute. So let me make it louder real quick. Okay. Now the RR stands for round robin, which means each time you play a note, it calls up different samples of the same note being recorded, but they're different recordings. So as you play it, it doesn't sound like you're re-triggering the same samples. Now what I want to point out is that this dark Zimbira was actually recorded a whole bunch of different ways, including fingers, hairbrush. So they're striking a hairbrush on each note. That's different. Magnetic swipe. This is using a magnetic nail, I believe. There's mallet bounce, so it's hitting and letting it bounce. There's mallets, which is a whole different sound than fingers. Okay, paintbrush, played it with a paintbrush. They used sugar packs, which they'd swipe and and then tape, where they put tape on and then pull the tape off. And then a toothbrush, finally, where they're striking it with the end of a toothbrush. So go looking through the list. There's a ton of stuff in here. If you go, instead of type, let's go to author. Let's go to Diego, the master creator, and let's go over here to version and say Omnisphere version 2. Here's all the new Diego stuff that is put into Omnisphere 2, and there's a ton of it. The Xperia bass is really fun. If we go down here to the actual staccato, anytime you see RR and stuff, that's typically when you're gonna find a normal instrument. Of course, it's a bass. So there's now a new parameter on the main page for octave. You can just quickly shift it down 2 octaves. Okay. So we could go through all the list of the Diego stuff quickly. There's effects, there's plates, tons of stuff. Here's the Lumino piano. And if you want, you go to the notes, and this will read you about the custom instrument that was made. Okay. Very cool. So there's a ton of stuff. My goodness. So that's how you go through and find stuff made by a certain person that's new for Omnisphere 2. Go to the version tab right there. All right. I'm going to wrap it up right there. And we'll come back and do more, covering more things of Omnisphere 2 next week. I don't want to do everything all in one video because then it becomes these multi-hour, too complex things. So we saw some of the new patches. Oh, by the way, let me read my quote here. Because a lot of people are asking, when is Omnisphere 2's version of Mega Magic Dreams coming out? It's right here. Check this out. Mega Magic Dreams. Here it is. Everything's in place. I'm actually making a whole lot of additional bonus stuff for it, but it's not out yet. I haven't released it because Spectrasonics is working on a new way to install third-party libraries for Omnisphere 2 that will make it much easier for end users and for developers. So we are waiting until this new method is made available before releasing this library or releasing other libraries for Omnisphere. So I can't give you any more information than that, but that's what we're waiting on, is some stuff that's coming that's going to make everything easier to get sounds in. No more searching for Steam folders and all the stuff we have to deal with. Tech support will change. I've helped many of you with tech support, searching to find the right folder and all that kind of stuff. Those days are going to be minimized considerably with what's happening. So when that comes out, this library will come out and you will be a happy customer, I promise. Okay, so that's it for now. I will talk to you all later. Thanks, and see you later. Bye.